The story opens with Reed Richards searching for his usual medication. His wife, Sue Storm, spots it left in the bathroom and tells him to wait a moment. She'll bring it to him. As she hands it over, she shares something unexpected: her pregnancy test results. Reed is stunned. After 2 long years of trying without success, they're finally going to have a baby. Overcome with emotion, they kiss, reassuring each other that they're ready for this new chapter in their lives. The scene shifts to a man named Ted Gilbert, speaking to an audience. He reminds them, it's been 4 years since the Fantastic Four first came together. Back then, Reed Richards set out on a bold mission: space exploration. To do it right, he brought along the brightest minds he trusted most: his best friend Ben Grimm, his wife Sue, and her brother Johnny. But the journey took a dramatic turn. While in space, they were caught in an unexpected cosmic storm that altered their DNA in unimaginable ways. When they returned to Earth, they were no longer the same. Each of them had developed extraordinary powers, and instead of hiding them, they chose to become heroes. Since then, they've been using their abilities to protect the planet and save lives across the globe. Reed Richards' best friend, Ben Grimm, was transformed into a powerful mutant, strong enough to stop a massive ship from sinking and take down creatures twice his size with sheer force. Johnny, Reed's brother-in-law, became the Human Torch, gaining the ability to control fire. He now uses his flames to battle infernos and rescue people trapped in burning buildings. As for Reed himself, he became Mr. Fantastic, with a body that can stretch and twist in ways no one thought possible. And Sue Storm, now known as the Invisible Woman, not only developed the power to vanish at will, but also stepped into the political spotlight. She founded a global peace foundation so influential that leaders from every nation agreed to disarm their military forces. Together, their powers and their purpose captivated the world. And that's how they came to be known as the Fantastic Four. Later that night, when the Fantastic Four returned home, we get a glimpse into their surprisingly normal life. Well, as normal as it gets when you have a robot chef preparing your dinner. Johnny and Ben were already seated at the table, waiting, when Reed and Sue finally joined them, much later than usual. Ben immediately sensed something was off. The way Reed and Sue exchanged glances, the quiet smiles, they were acting different. And that's when it clicked. Sue was pregnant. A wave of joy swept through the room as the team celebrated the news together, pure happiness lighting up their faces. Not long after, the world found out. The story of Sue Storm expecting a child spread like wildfire, and soon, everyone was asking the same thing: would the child be born with powers too? Meanwhile, Reed Richards had been receiving strange transmissions from space, faint signals wrapped in layers of interference. No matter how hard he tried, he just couldn't decode what they were saying. As he dug deeper into the research, Johnny dropped by, teasing him. He thought Reed was just pretending to be busy, trying to distract himself from the nerves of becoming a dad. But Reed quickly shut that down and told him about the mysterious transmission. Curious, Johnny jumped in to help. Together, they worked to decipher the message, but no matter what they tried, the signals remained unclear. The frustration grew, and so did Reed's anxiety. A part of him feared the worst, that their child might not be normal. That's when Sue gently stepped in. With her powers, she gave Reed a glimpse of the baby growing inside her. The moment he saw it, calm, healthy, and just as it should be, his heart finally settled. Relief washed over him. For the first time in days, he smiled. Their baby was going to be just fine. Elsewhere, Ben Grimm returns to the town where he grew up. The moment he steps in, it's clear, everyone adores him. Kids run up to him with wide eyes and huge smiles, begging him to lift a car. With a grin, Ben happily obliges, showing off his incredible strength and lighting up their faces with joy. He's always had a soft spot for children. Back at the Fantastic Four headquarters, Reed gathers the team for a quick update. With pride in his voice, he announces that he's managed to track down 47 major criminal organizations operating in the city, a massive breakthrough. But just as they prepare to sit down for dinner, something unexpected lights up the sky. A massive flame streaks across the atmosphere, catching everyone's attention. Without hesitation, Johnny flames on and launches himself into the sky to investigate. Moments later, in the heart of the city, a mysterious figure appears, a woman with a silver metallic body. She lands silently in the middle of the street, stopping traffic and turning every head in her direction. The Fantastic Four quickly realize this is no ordinary visitor. She calls herself the Silver Surfer. She asks the Fantastic Four if they're the protectors of Earth. When they say yes, she warns them their planet has been marked for destruction. Soon, it will be consumed by the Devourer, and there's nothing anyone can do to stop it. She tells humanity to cherish what time they have left, because Galactus is coming. For him, it's a new beginning. For them, it's the end. Right after delivering her chilling message, the Silver Surfer shoots back into space, but Johnny isn't letting her go that easily. He chases after her, trying to stop her, but she knocks him back down to Earth with just one strike. While the team regroups, Richard begins digging into who Galactus is. He manages to trace the Silver Surfer's path across space and discovers that she's visited 5 other planets, each one now completely destroyed. That's when the truth hits them. Everything she said is real. Richard proposes a bold plan to launch themselves into space and search for a way to stop Galactus before he reaches Earth. But before they can finalize anything, Johnny cuts in. He tells them that when he chased the Silver Surfer into space, she actually said something to him. The team doesn't think much of it, especially when Johnny admits he couldn't understand her because she spoke in another language. Brushing it off, they walk away, not realizing how important her words might be. Soon after, Richard finishes crafting special spacesuits for the entire team. The Fantastic Four then address the public, announcing their plan to head into space and stop Galactus. When they promise to protect Earth with their lives, the crowd erupts into a standing ovation. Wasting no time, the team boards their rocket and launches into space, determined to save the world. While in space, the team decides their best chance of finding Galactus is by tracking down the Silver Surfer. During their search, they stumble upon a massive planet, 13 times the size of Earth. But before they can get any closer, the entire planet is obliterated in just 19 seconds. Suddenly, Silver Surfer appears inside their ship. She warns them that Galactus will notice their presence and coldly tells them they shouldn't have come. Then, without much explanation, she instructs them to follow her. The team asks the Silver Surfer what Galactus truly wants. Her response is chilling. He doesn't want. He feeds. She then leads them to Galactus himself, and the moment they see him, they're overwhelmed by his terrifying size and presence. Galactus tells them he was once just like them, an ordinary man from another world millions of years ago. But now, he's consumed by an eternal hunger for planets. Suddenly, he turns his attention to Sue Storm, sensing something powerful within her. Realizing she's pregnant, Galactus declares he'll spare Earth, but only if they give him her unborn child. He reveals that the baby holds cosmic energy, and he wants the child to one day inherit his throne. Outraged, Richard stands up to him, shouting that he'll never have their planet, let alone their child. Enraged, Galactus uses his powers to accelerate Sue's labor, forcing the baby to arrive early. Then, with a dark threat, he vows to slowly devour Earth, while their newborn watches it all unfold. Suddenly, Johnny bursts forward, blazing with fury, and hurls his fire powers directly at Galactus. It's a desperate move, but he's willing to risk everything. As Silver Surfer tries to stop him, Ben steps in, tackling her mid-air to buy the others time. Meanwhile, Richard grabs Sue and makes a run for their ship, trying to protect her and the unborn baby. Silver Surfer quickly overpowers Ben and Johnny, knocking them down. But before she can reach Sue, the Invisible Woman gathers every ounce of her strength and uses her force field powers to launch the Surfer into the raging fire Johnny left behind. Without wasting a second, the Fantastic Four rush into their spaceship, hoping to escape. But their relief is short-lived. Silver Surfer recovers fast and takes off after them, moving faster than the speed of light. Her focus is clear and terrifying. She's locked onto Sue Storm and the powerful baby she carries. Johnny is ordered to use the ship's lasers to take her down, but he struggles to get a clear shot. She's just too fast. To stop her, Richard tells Ben to steer the ship toward a nearby star, hoping its gravity will trap her. The plan works, and once they lose the Silver Surfer, Richard rushes to Sue, who's already in labor. After a tough and painful delivery, Sue finally gives birth to a baby boy. A few hours later, the Fantastic Four return to Earth, where a massive crowd has gathered to welcome them home. The atmosphere is filled with joy and celebration. Everyone believes Galactus has been defeated, but Richard steps forward to address the people. He calmly explains that they didn't defeat Galactus. Instead, Galactus tried to negotiate, but the cost was far too high. He told them to hand over their baby in exchange for sparing the planet. Things take a dark turn for the Fantastic Four when the very people who once praised them suddenly turn against them. Fearful for their planet's survival, the public demands that they hand over their baby to Galactus. Outside their headquarters, angry protesters gather in large numbers, shouting and calling for the sacrifice of the child. In the midst of the chaos, Sue Storm makes a bold decision. Holding her newborn in her arms, she steps outside to face the furious crowd. With calm strength, she begins to speak, sharing a personal story about losing her parents in a tragic accident. She explains the deep, unbearable pain of being ripped apart from the ones you love, and what it truly means to protect family. Sue Storm tells the crowd firmly that she will never sacrifice her baby to save the world, but at the same time, she won't let the world be destroyed for the sake of her child either. She promises that she and the Fantastic Four will stand together and face whatever threat comes their way, determined to stop it no matter the cost. first. Just then, Richard Reed steps forward with a bold idea. He tells the team about an experimental teleportation bridge he's been secretly developing. His plan is to use the device to move the entire Earth to a different solar system, one far enough that Galactus won't be able to find or reach them for millions of years. The challenge was enormous, especially since the teleportation device had only ever been used to transport something as small as a 6-foot egg. But with help from brilliant minds around the globe, they managed to expand the device to nearly 100 times its original size, just enough to make the plan workable. It was anything but easy. And just as the final touches were being made and the world was ready to be moved beyond Galactus's reach, disaster struck. After being trapped for a month since her last clash with the Fantastic Four, the Silver Surfer reappears, unleashing destruction and wiping out nearly all the teleportation bridges in an instant. Before she could destroy the final teleportation bridge, Johnny makes a bold, last-second move to stop her. In a surprising twist, it's revealed that Johnny had been fascinated by her ever since she first arrived on Earth, and during that time, he secretly learned her language. Through their tense standoff, we discover a heartbreaking truth. The Silver Surfer wasn't always like this. She once lived a peaceful life on her home planet, raising a child in harmony, until Galactus came. To save her world from annihilation, she struck a desperate deal with him, offering herself as his herald in exchange for her planet's survival. That was the day she was transformed into the Silver Surfer. Johnny then lets her listen to recordings collected from other planets that were destroyed since she became Galactus's herald. The desperate voices of people crying out for mercy shake her to the core. Overwhelmed with guilt and sorrow, she flies off and disappears into the distance, stopping near the moon to be alone. Back on Earth, hope begins to fade. With most of the teleportation bridges now destroyed, it seems almost impossible to move the planet away from Galactus's reach. But after some time, Reed Richards proposes an even more daring plan. Instead of trying to move Earth away from Galactus, he suggests they flip the strategy, take Galactus away from Earth. He explains to the team that they can use their child as bait to draw Galactus toward the last remaining teleportation bridge. His plan is risky, but it's their only shot. If they can get Galactus close enough to the device, they can activate it and send him across the universe, far beyond Earth's reach for millions of years. But there's a catch. Once Galactus is near, they'll have only 37 seconds to complete the operation before everything collapses. Later that afternoon, Galactus arrives on Earth, his towering presence casting a shadow across the planet. As panic spreads, authorities instruct civilians to take shelter deep underwater, away from the chaos. Meanwhile, Johnny Storm attempts a desperate diversion. He flies off with a decoy pod, trying to trick Galactus into believing it contains the baby. But Galactus, ancient and all-knowing, isn't so easily deceived. He quickly senses the truth and turns his focus back to the real child, hidden within the Fantastic Four's headquarters. A massive battle erupts as the team fights to protect the baby. They throw everything they have at Galactus, but his cosmic power is overwhelming. Reed Richards is flung across the sky like a rubber band, stretched to his limits. Just when it seems like Reed might be torn apart, Ben Grimm charges in, smashing through the debris to rescue his friend, giving them all a brief moment to regroup. Just when Galactus got hold of their baby, Sue Storm unleashed all her powers in a desperate attempt to stop him. A powerful blast of energy surged from her, hitting Galactus with full force and making him lose grip of the baby, who then fell safely into Richard's arms. In this moment, Sue showed exceptional strength, using her shield-generating abilities to push Galactus backward toward the teleportation portal. With everything she had, she drove him closer and closer, straining herself to the limit. At last, she managed to push Galactus into the portal, but the effort had taken a serious toll on her. Before they could even begin to celebrate, Galactus forced his way back out of the portal, just as the timer showed only 15 seconds remaining. In a final desperate attempt to stop Galactus, Johnny prepares to sacrifice himself by charging straight at him. But just before he makes contact, Silver Surfer intervenes, pushing Johnny aside and taking his place. With all her strength, she forces Galactus back into the portal, sacrificing herself in the process. Though the world is saved, there's no time for celebration. Sue Storm is found unconscious, unresponsive to all efforts to revive her. It isn't until Reed gently places their baby on her chest that she begins to stir, her fingers twitching, eyes slowly opening. A quiet moment of relief and hope closes the story. If you enjoyed this emotional finale and want more powerful moments from your favorite heroes, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell so you never miss a story.